What is up? What is up? It is Thursday night. We are live from Anchorage, Alaska, here at the Think Home Studios. Let me blow this up real big. Rethink Home Studio. That's right. And we've got some new background stuff. Check it out. Have rehung our sign. And of course, if I was thinking, I hid the nail here. What these are some acoustic panels because we've got the dog school next door. And while I'm not here all day long, Michael is here all day long. And especially the doggy daycare time gets to be quite a lot. Not gonna lie, it gets to be quite a lot. I mean, like I can sit here in the evening and hear him. I can imagine hearing them all day. And then he says that the the bath days are really bad. So the owner said, "Yeah, go ahead and put some of these up here. Put these tiles up. We bought these tiles, or Michael did. This is a hilarious story. So, we're shooting our video, right? And we were going to shoot it in, and they were in the old store, which is down the road from us, and multiple room store. And so we're talking about shooting our show, and we needed an office set up, right? And so we're like, yeah, you got some desks around here, but none of them, they're all nice. They're wood or kind of older antique-ish kind of desks. So none of them really look like a government office. So there I am. I'm sitting at work one day and I get this phone call from Michael. And his first words were bitten off a little more than I can chew. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, he'd seen this auction. This auction was some furniture, office furniture from a government agency. Oh, perfect. We need furniture to make it look like we have a government agency. So this is perfect. What he didn't realize is how big of an office this actually came out of. And it's stacked on pallets, but it's just kind of like stacked on pallets, not wrapped, not, I mean, well, some of it was wrapped, but there are all of these panels. And then there are all of these metal pieces to put these cubicles together, right? Like big, heavy metal pieces. And then there are lighted cabinets that go up. I mean, it is an entire office that he has scored from this auction, which, like I said, we needed it. But I don't know that we needed that much of it. And I can actually show you it because we in our show. So anyway, he calls me up. He's like, I bought this thing. He only paid $30 for it, right? So he paid $30 for this thing. Oh, I might have some in. He pays 30 bucks for this thing. And then he's like, I need help. He's like, I can't do this on my own. So I'm like, all right. So we had just hired a new project manager in my office. So I go and I grab him and I'm like, hey, new guy, I need your help. He's like, okay, what? And I'm like, let's go. And so I get in the car. Oh yeah. So do I have any of us unloading this shit? I've got some of the, let me email these to myself so I can show you guys. This is all. think I got some from the truck too, but at least this will kind of show you what I'm talking about. So he's like, so I show up down there at this warehouse to pick up this order that he's got, and it's freaking like, oh my God, Michael, what did you do? You bought all this stuff. Um, and it's just pallets and pallets and pallets. And so luckily he's got access to U-Haul vans, which we had an entire U-Haul van. So we put all this stuff in the U-Haul van. I mean, and like thankfully now the people at the place are not supposed to help us, right? They are not supposed to help us at all. They say no, we can't help you. But thankfully they helped us. We actually they loaded up one of the things with their forklift, which if they hadn't, we'd have been so hosed. We really would have. We'd have been hosed because we weren't getting that stuff out. Or on this phone too. We are progress. So we spent hours. So we loaded up, finally got the thing loaded up and get it over to the old store, and then we have to unload the entire van. And it is, I mean, it was insane. We had all of this office furniture. So these panels that you see behind me are part of that. So let's see. Oh, loading. But it was hilarious. He's just like, I've totally bitten off more than I could chew here. I need help. Yeah, no worries. I'll come help you. I did. I went down there. Like I said, we got it. We got it done. But it was let's see. Loads. Oh, it is stacks and stacks of these. Oh, yeah, this thing. These right here. Stacks and stacks of these. And you can see this is the old store. And there's more. More of it. And then you can see in the back, we've just got it loaded up. I mean, we just unloaded this stuff in here. Hey, where's my other? But yeah, so then these panels here. So yeah, it was hilarious. And but you know, it helped. It helped us get you know, so we actually that's what we did is we set up in the shop, set up in the old store. This is kind of here.
I can't help it. All right. I turn everything into a.
Oh, okay, got it. That was got a iPhone footage. I kind of glance around here. Here we go.
Right,
see our little office setup.
Robbie?
No,
Okay.
no.
Oh, it looks like a real office. I mean, you can see. So going from this is in the exact same spot, right? This is that right there. Over here. That cubicle that you're looking at. We are actually able to make it. That's this cubicle back here, which we hadn't even finished yet. Is this right there. And the wall, that's a backdrop.
I actually don't know how to turn it.
So yeah, you can see we put some work into it.
Now we are recording. Okay.
And these are these things you see behind me. So this is just our raw footage from that day, that filming. Yeah. Fun. Yay! Let's party! Absolutely. Yeah, I was just telling folks about our adventure with office things. So these panels behind me are these panels here that we bought. Michael bought these at an auction for $30. He calls me up and says, bought all this stuff. But I mean, probably 100 of these panels, stacks and stacks of these metal things, all the parts, you got little screws and parts and pieces that go with it. And then all of them, there's like, if you really set it up as an office, there's like metal, or there's pieces that will make everything electrified, and you can put outlets in the cubicles. I mean, it's a full-on cubicle farm that we have. And the desks are, the desks go up and down. Let me.
All right, so no boom for this.
So this desk right here, if you see, there's a little piece right there, that little brown thing right there, and you put a handle in there, and you can raise it up and down. That's how the desk with the plant on top of it, you can lower that down or raise them up so they can be all flush. But yeah, we always have fun with that. Oh yes, so we got my light hung back up over the right there. Got the light hung back up, and now because two things. Because it's not an orange background anymore, I can wear my orange sweatshirt now. I'm excited about that. And I can change the color, because before all I could do on the sign was old white like that, because it was already on an orange background. But now I can make it red. Red's the best color anyway. Or I can make it orange. I can make it purple. Looks blue. No blue. Can't have blue. Pink. Pink. Green. None of these look back to red for now. So we are on air. And over my right shoulder, which is the left shoulder if you're looking at me, is one of my favorite things in the whole world, which is the Constitution of the United States. Right there. These were on this wall before. They were just too high to see. Michael, do you mind if I put one of those down low so we can see it? He's like, you go ahead. So I did. So I picked the Constitution. I put the Constitution down low so we could see that. So yeah. So that is the story with the backdrop. Trying quiet down the dog noise during the day so Michael doesn't get driven crazy by dogs. So, what do we got tonight? I don't. We talked a while back about, I've been a big covering of the Karen Reed case and the entire corruption thing that's been going on in Canton, Massachusetts, with the police, with the horrible investigation that they've done. The horrible investigation that the state police has done, and just what seems like corruption there. And we talked a bit about federal investigation and what they were looking at and why they started up. Why did federal government start investigating goings on in Norfolk County? I believe is where they started, and Michael Morrissey's office and the state police office based around Norfolk County. Sorry, getting comfortable here. And so why did they have why did they think that they needed to look at Morrissey? And one of the reasons is because of a death that happened in 2021. And it was actually the exact date. It's right. February 4th, 2021. There was a young lady by the name of Sandra Birchmore. And I know you've heard me talk a couple times about Sandra Birchmore and how her death sparked the investigation into the Norfolk County and the state police, the Canton police. So I'm trying. This is tough because yesterday the federal government, who have been investigating this, made an arrest. They arrested a guy named Matthew Farwell. Matthew Farwell had admitted to having a relationship with Sandra Birchmore. Matthew Farwell was a Stoughton police officer. Stoughton is, you know what? I've never really looked at where these places. I mean, I have, but it's been a while. So let's look them up on the map. Google map. So we get a reference point of where these places are. Massachusetts. Oh, we have Canton here. Oh, right outside of Boston. And Stoughton is right here, right below. So I mean, they're kissing cousins. They are right there next to each other. Back over a second. There's Canton. There's Stoughton. And so this officer, shoot, I wasn't showing it, was I? Dang it. All right, now let me. There's Canton right here. Helps if I click the show on stream button. So there's Canton, Massachusetts. Up here is Boston proper. So you can see it's south. There's Canton. And then down here is Stoughton. There's the Stoughton Public Library. So Matthew Farwell was a Stoughton police officer. And he coming in. Oh. Oh my goodness. Really? You are kidding me. Where are these at? Are these down? All right, I got to show that. All right, well, got to take a little break here. All right, I'll get that over there. Okay, so when this gets too deep, I'll take a break and show you because this popped up here today. Are these in the downstairs or the upstairs? I mean, the up on the hill or down by the other one? So surprise, we got a little surprise today. It looks like. Okay, so Matthew Farwell. Miss Birchmore, her death is ruled a suicide. They said that she strangled herself with tied herself to a doorknob and basically, and I know in YouTube you shouldn't say the S word, so I have to be careful. As they take that seriously. So they finally, this happens in 2020, because this is 2021. There is a video of Farwell coming and going from her place at the time of her demise. Right? So I can find the video here. So it shows him coming to her apartment and then leaving her apartment. Yeah, here we go. So this is her. This is the night. Oh, so this is February 1st. Why this is February 1st? Because they said February 4th was the thing. But this is, so maybe the thing is off. But this is him at her place that night and leaving like half an hour later. And so they ruled it a self-inflicted thing. And there's some of the same people that are involved in the Karen Reed case that were the investigators on this case. Canton police people and state police people, like the guy who, their phone expert for the Canton Police Department. He went through her phone, then he found all these messages. He turned these messages over to Detective Fanning from the Canton Police Department, because she lived in Canton. So the death took place in Canton. So Canton police officers were the part of the team, and then state police got involved. So you can see this is right here, one of the affidavits. So on February 4th, Trooper Dunn responded to Canton for the death of Sandra Birchmore. Trooper Dunn was advised by multiple sources the victim Sandra was possibly pregnant, and the father of the baby is Detective Matt Farwell from Stoughton Police Department. On February 9th, 2021, Trooper Dunn, Keefe, and I responded to blah, blah, blah in Canton to retrieve Santa's laptop and irrelevant evidence. We retrieved Santa's Apple laptop, were able to use the password to gain access to the device. The device was turned over to Trooper Nick Garano. Now, Nick Garano is the guy. He's the one from Karen Reed's case, right? He's the phone expert that, said that you can swing your phone around and make steps, or, if you're driving in your car and your car goes up an incline, that can also be recording you as going upstairs, right? Same guy. This is one of the worst things I have ever seen. This is one of the worst things I have ever read in my life. This is tragedy. They ruined this poor little girl and then tried to cover it up. Over the next several weeks, I analyzed data from Sandra's laptop. In particular, I was investigating any criminal conduct related to Sandra's death. And his laptop gave me access to approximately 12 months of iMessages. Bullcrap. He didn't go back any farther because he didn't want to, because he knew she was underage after that. Social media content and other documents databases. Matt and Sandra had texted thousands of times over the year and many years prior to that, as well as communication with other friends and family. It was clear based on text that he had a sexual relationship, as he told his pre-minister. Sandra communicated often with friends and family. It appeared that Sandra had sexual relations with other men in the months leading up to her death. There were no threats of harm by any of these individuals, including Matt. Sergeant John M. Fanning, Massachusetts State Police. Oh, you are welcome. Absolutely. I'm appalled. Oh my God. They treated this poor innocent girl as just a thing, not even a human. The things they did were not human to her. And it's horrible. I mean, it is just absolutely horrible. And these same people are on here. There were 32,000 messages that that they recovered between the two of them over the years. And we'll get into some of that later, because we're going to kind of go through the affidavit here in a minute. And I'm warning you, it is not pleasant at all. It is absolutely not pleasant. probably going to put something up here that just, in fact, I'm going to do it right now. Give me 1 second while I hit the topics we are covering are sensitive nature, of an adult nature, and very troubling. All right. Date. Show. All right. There we go. We're going to have a ticker tonight. Oh, I can't. And these are the people that, that you're supposed to trust, right? You're supposed to be able to trust officers of the law. And I get it. Trust me, I know. Takes all kind of people out there. Oh yeah, no, I watched that with Runkle last night too, and he was in the same boat. He was so angry. It's just, enough people need to cover this and then there needs to be more. There needs to be more arrests. It can't just stop with this one guy. So these same people do this. So let's go ahead. I've highlighted. I'm not going to read the entire thing because it's just too much. But I'm going to look at some of the affidavit. Go ahead and bring it up. Blow it up a little bit. So I'm not even going to try and say this name, Cheney. And of course, then I go and try and say the name. Cheney Castorita is an FBI agent. And I've been very hard on the FBI over the last couple years. And in fact, the whole point of this channel is to make fun of the FBI with our show that we're doing. However, in this instance, they are absolutely 100% spot on. And I appreciate the job that they are doing in these investigations. Absolutely. You got to give credit where it's due. So I submit this affidavit in connection with the government motion to detain defendant Matthew Farwell pending trial. Using a facility or means interstate commerce to persuade, induce, entice, or coerce then 15-year-old Birchmore to engage in unlawful intercourse, in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2422, depriving Birchmore of certain rights secured under the United States, participating in a scheme to defraud the Stoughton Police Department and the town of Stoughton through false representation. This is how they're getting him. This is how they're getting him with federal law and breaking federal law. Oh, yes. Yes, they know that their time is coming. The McAlberts all know that there's a lot more information out there that this stuff isn't going to fly any longer. I hope. I'm crossing my fingers. I really am. I hope it continues on. On February 1st, 2021, then Stoughton Police Detective Matthew Farwell killed Sandra Birchmore. Oh, I guess it was okay. So February 4th, I guess, is when February 4th is when they went to there because people hadn't seen her for a few days. So my fault on the date. The actual date was February 1st. He was then a Stoughton police detective. Matthew Farwell killed Sandra Birchmore. Farwell committed this murder, at least in part, to prevent Birchmore from disclosing to authorities information regarding his commission or possible commissions of one or more crimes, including coercion and enticement in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2422. When she was a young girl, Sandra Birchmore was interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement and eventually joined the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy, hereinafter Police Explorers, to learn more about law enforcement careers. While Birchmore was in the program, Farwell was involved as both a volunteer and an instructor. Farwell used his authority and access to groom, sexually exploit, and ultimately abuse then 15-year-old Birchmore. Farwell continued this abuse after Birchmore became an adult, and he continued to engage in an extramarital relationship with Birchmore until he killed her on February 1st, 2021. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, exactly. Snowstorms. If there's a trial about this, I'm sure we're going to hear about snow and how much snow there was. Yeah. Like Runkle said last night, too, is like, if you are near Canton and there is a snowstorm, get the hell out of there. Go. Leave. Because bad stuff is going to happen. Because when it snows in Canton, it goes down. There are signs that in late 2020, early 2021, Farwell was losing control of Birchmore and the information she possessed about his past and then ongoing conduct. In or around December 2020, Birchmore became pregnant. So, yeah. So, continue here a little bit farther down, same page, just a little farther down. On February 4th, 2021, 3 days after the murder, members of the Canton Police Department went to Birchmore's apartment to conduct a well-being check. When officers entered Birchmore's apartment, they found her body. A paramedic determined Birchmore was dead. Her body is transferred to the Office of Chief Medical Examiner. In early May 2021, a pathologist ruled Birchmore's manner to be a death of self-infliction. Matthew Farwell started sexually exploiting Sandra Birchmore no later than 2013 when she was 15 years old. You are welcome. I appreciate it. I know it's tough. I know this is hard. I know that it's just yeah. I mean, I have no words. I have no words about and then how they just they ruined this poor girl. They did. They ruined her. It's just bad. And and these other cops tried to cover it up. That's the thing that blows me away is not so much just it's that, if that wasn't enough, then you got people that covered for this guy. So the Explorer program is a vocational education program that enables youth to explore career paths such as careers in law enforcement. Police departments throughout the country partner with the Explorer program to create what are commonly known as local police Explorer programs. There's police Explorer programs everywhere. So, all right, let me scroll down a little bit. Well, began to groom. Oh, wait. Wrong button. I took myself away. So Farwell began to groom Birchmore when she was a child. He was 27 years old. She was 15 in April 2013 when this first assault happened. And then after Birchmore turned 18, Farwell continued cultivating a sexual relationship. No, so he wasn't the only one, too. There were other police officers that were involved in this as well, which have not been arrested yet, are still out there. The only reason this guy is in jail is because the federal government stepped in. The state government hasn't done anything yet. After Birchmore's death, law enforcement agents obtained Birchmore's cell phones, both Apple iPhones, and a laptop to review the data on those devices. During that review, agents discovered messages between Farwell and Birchmore. Messages confirmed that Farwell frequently communicated with Birchmore for years. The messages also indicate that Farwell had sex with Birchmore when she was a minor, starting in around 2013. Birchmore is 15 and Farwell is 27. But what does Sergeant Fanning say? There was nothing wrong. Sandra communicated often with friends and family. It appeared that she had sexual relations with other men in the months leading up to her death. There were no threats of harm. There's nothing going on at all. It gets even worse. I mean, just not even gonna. It gets worse. Data from Birchmore's Facebook account reveals aspects of the beginning of the Farwell and Birchmore online communications. Specifically, Facebook data indicates Farwell sent Birchmore a Facebook friend request in 2012 when Birchmore was 15 and Farwell was her 26-year-old instructor. On February 21st, 2019, Birchmore and Farwell had a text conversation about Farwell taking Birchmore's virginity. Birchmore told Farwell she was happy that he took it. Later in the same conversation, Farwell acknowledged that it was a big thing to get to be the first. So this is the text conversation. On February 11th, 2020, Birchmore and Farwell discussed the exact day Farwell took the 15-year-old Birchmore's virginity. Birchmore had butterflies so bad the day he took my virginity. Me too. It was such a big day. I mean, this guy's 27. Still know the date to this day. Really? Yes. That's not a date I'll ever forget. It was April 10th, 2013. Best day of my life. Me too. So it was the best day of both of their lives, supposedly. It is. It is a mess for her. I do. I feel so bad for her family and what they've gone through. So let's take a look at April of May for Mr. Farwell. So what was going on in April and May of 2013 with Matt Farwell? Congratulations to Officer Matt Farwell on his wedding to his new wife, Michelle, today. 5/11 of 13. April 10th, 2013. There's the happy couple. So as Aiden, Turtle Boy, said, Matthew Farwell married his attorney wife on May 11, 2013. 1 month prior to that, on April 10th, 2013, he took 15-year-old Sandra Birchmore's virginity, something he said he wished he had done when she was 14. Yes, he did that too. What I'm looking forward to is that this guy is in jail right now. He's not in prison. I don't know where he's at. I don't know if he's in a federal facility or if he is in a local facility. And by 1 second, I got to grab something real quick. Nevertheless, he is in a correctional facility at this very moment. And I don't think that he's really going to be able to be in any kind of general population whatsoever. I am pretty sure he is in protective custody because he's already got 2 strikes against him. 1 is the kid thing, and 2 is he's a cop. So he is not going to have a pleasant experience, hopefully the rest of his life. So there are other texts that prove that he abused her as a child. And that's, I mean, told friends that, he'd been having sex with her for all the last almost 10 years and that he'd taken her virginity. So other text messages between Farwell and Birchmore demonstrate his sexual interest in minors. June 15, 2019, Farwell and Birchmore exchanged text messages which they role playing during their next sexual encounter. Farwell asked Birchmore how old she was going to pretend to be during that encounter, and he said 14. You say, Matt, stop, I'm 13. That's actually what he wanted. What? This keeps getting worse, man. Every time I read it, I'm like, there's so many people out there that just want to have a few minutes with this guy. And it showed that he basically was talking about wanting to wish that he would have done this even earlier than when she was 15. February 21st, 2020, Birchmore and Farwell reminisced about when they first became sexually active. Birchmore, I listened better back then, though. I wish it had been a year sooner after helping you study at the library. You still listen and give me whatever I want, baby. Birchmore, I didn't even make you wait a year after that, and good, but I don't think you're going to get what you want. Of course, I will just take it. Birchmore, that's what you think. Good luck with that. Farwell, what was the first day you said, oh my God, I want this guy to be my first? Birchmore, yeah. So 2012, I finally decided I was going to try and find a way to F you and just wasn't sure how. How did you feel when I asked to make your dream come true? Farwell, amazing. Good. Farwell, I absolutely would have F'd you in 2012. So when she was 14. And so, of course, she's going to talk, she's going to talk to friends. This guy expected her to never talk to anybody about what they were doing. He expected her to keep all of this completely quiet. And like I said, there were other officers of the Stoughton Police Department that were doing the same thing before she turned 18. Still walking the streets. They're still not in jail. Text messages between Farwell and Birchmore indicated on multiple occasions Farwell left work during his shifts to meet and at times engage in sexual activity with Birchmore. Here are some of the dates. April 2020, May 2020. He's got all of these dates where he left work. This is one of the reasons that they're able to federally charge him. So they're basically federally charging him with wire fraud. Why are they doing that? Let's see. Yep. So Town of Stoughton pays Stoughton police officers on a biweekly basis. In or around 2020 and January 2021, Farwell received his paychecks via direct deposit to his account at USAA Federal Savings Bank. Paycheck funds originated with Rockland Trust Bank and were deposited in Farwell's account via Automatic Clearinghouse, ACH. Each ACH transfer originated outside of Massachusetts and or traveled through another state before terminating in Farwell's account. So there we go. Interstate commerce. Accordingly, it appears that by engaging in sexual conduct when he should have been performing official duties as a police officer and obtaining pay for that time, Farwell may have committed wire fraud. So first they get him with wire fraud. Okay, so this is the first step in charging him federally. 2, he committed the murder to keep Farwell from disclosing his crimes. So in order to get him for the murder, he has to be a witness. Well, she was a witness to his crimes of before she was 15 or before she was 18. In October of, so then she, you know, these guys have just abused this girl since she was 15 years old. Complete mess. She has no idea how to have an actual adult relationship, right? She has no concept of what a normal relationship is because she had these men way older than her using her since she was 15 and, you know, trying to abuse her before that. So wants to have a relationship with someone, and so you know, she's obviously drawn and committed to this person that abuses her. And so he decides that the best way to do that is for her to get pregnant and have a kid with him. Now, that's, you know, obviously that's not how this thing works. But one, you know, she's got him over a barrel because he can, you know, can out him at any time, and he knows that. So, on October 5th, 2020, person 1 told Birchmore that Farwell's wife was pregnant with the couple's third child. Person 1 indicated the baby was due in February 2021. Birchmore responded that she was going to tell Farwell's wife that he'd been having sex with her for nearly 10 years. In summary, electronic messaging Farwell and Birchmore for the period beginning on or about October 5th through January 2020 indicate that Birchmore presented Farwell with an ultimatum. Farwell would agree to engage in unprotected sex with Birchmore, with the goal of conceiving a child. In turn, Birchmore would not disclose their relationship. Birchmore had already told others, so she'd already told friends that about the whole thing because, you know, she's not going to not talk to her friends. According to text message between Farwell and Birchmore sent Farwell a photo of her ovulation schedule, and the two started discussing timing their encounter. So obviously he didn't want this to come out. Following is an excerpt of a text conversation October 12, 2020. I said the agreement was once that was our compromise. I asked if we could try this month. I didn't realize you meant F me once. Then asked if we could try through this year, and you said you'd think about it. Compromise was try once. Well, yeah, it was tried this month. So you're thinking about second thing as far as the rest of the year. So he's trying to pull out of it. He's trying to get away from it. She's like, that ain't how it works. And in November, he asked if we could try it again. They need to talk in person. So he knows too. He doesn't want this in text message. How would you feel about us having a baby? This is in a November 5th conversation. About having a baby, you being there and signing the birth certificate. There's never going to be a need for your information anyway. You'll be safe there. And I won't talk shit about her or your kids. That way we both get what we want. Still, I mean, obviously this girl is just, they've ruined her. You asked me the other day what I wanted, and I didn't want to give it to in a form of an ultimatum, so I'm trying to do with it as you compromise things. Tell what you thought of. He says, she says some more, and he's like, we got to talk about that in person. And in November, she says she's trying to conceive. She's not conceived, so she asked Farwell to continue to try. Then on December 28th, 2020, Birchmore sent Farwell a text message informing him that she was pregnant. She sent him a photo of a poster he made to celebrate the pregnancy. So she made a poster tell him that she was pregnant. And that is just straight. That is the poster. Congratulations. We're going. Farwell's immediate response to Birchmore's disclosure about the pregnancy was, I literally have nothing to say right now. How could you express that in text when I said I don't appreciate it? So he knows. Yeah. How far are you? Regardless, how far are we keeping it? But 3.5 weeks. He's I conceive this month. Okay, we'll need to talk then. No, he's mad because he's mad. Says that he didn't have another choice. Well, yeah, you did. You absolutely had a choice. You had a choice multiple years prior to this. So we also know that back here, other thing, Fanning said that there were no threats of harm by any of these individuals. Well, okay, Mr. Sergeant John Fanning of the Massachusetts State Police. How did the FBI come up with escalating physical violence over the course of their entire relationship if you found no threats whatsoever? As I said, Matthew Farwell is not the only person that should be in prison. Yeah, no, exactly. You were the adult. You absolutely had a choice. You had a choice for years prior to this. At least 3 witnesses disclosed that in the weeks before her death, Birchmore told them that Farwell was physically violent with Birchmore, and Farwell discussed the pregnancy. According to death records, Birchmore was 4 feet 10. Farwell was 6'4". So that is quite a difference in things. So, okay, I need to take a break. But I'm going to leave you with phone is not acting right, I guess. I tried to email myself some. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. So, got this email a little bit ago, or it was a text message, and we had a little surprise tonight. That our little surprise. As you can see, they're definitely little surprises. So, I had no idea that there were chickens. And I don't know if the cat knew, but maybe she could fill in the gaps a little bit about where these came from, because this certainly is a surprise. So I give me like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I'll be right back and we'll keep going. Chickens. I thought maybe Cat was on here. I don't know. But that's the message I got from her. It said, "Hey, look at the little peepers. Somebody was broody sitting on some eggs. Got chickens. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? I didn't have. I'm such a dummy. I clicked the button off. I'm so dumb. Didn't realize that I'd clicked the stupid button off. I was even, as I was walking away, I was going, I think I had him on the screen, but no, obviously I didn't. That's what I'm talking about. Little ones. I was like, what is he going on about chickens and not even showing the picture of the chickens? Oh, there we go. You were supposed to enjoy this picture while I was gone, but obviously you didn't because dummy. But yes, surprise. Yes, when they hid those eggs really well because I had no idea they were there. All right. Let's get back into this mess. Again, this is our sensitive topic. One of the yeah, they aren't they? Are these chickens are pretty cool. They got some really cool colors. But yeah, this is one of the grossest things I think I've ever seen. Ever. Person in position of power. So we have reports that person 3 indicated that in the days before death, that Birchmore disclosed that Farwell had been violent. Approximately 10 days before death, Birchmore and person 3 went to Walmart to buy a baby stroller. Birchmore was excited about the baby, asked person 3 to be the child's godmother, and then she told person 3 that the day prior, Farwell had gotten angry with her for showing him a fetal sonogram. According to Birchmore, Farwell told her, "That's not my child. I don't want anything to do with you," and pushed her to the ground. So he's obviously getting more and more violent with her. Additionally, person 7, a longtime therapist, reported that in the weeks before her death, Birchmore reported that Farwell got upset about the pending pregnancy and shoved her. Again, more people to verify that, that yes, Mr. Sergeant Fanning, that there were definitely some threats going on. If you would have maybe done a little bit of investigating, that's what detectives are supposed to do. They're supposed to detect stuff, supposed to investigate stuff. You're not supposed to I'm just going to read the messages and say, oh, this is all fine and dandy. Makes me so angry. And other things where he had took her cell phone out of her hand, refused to give it back. He took her computer and used his body to shove her. I mean, again, she's 4'10". He is 6'4". In January 2021, pressure on Farwell increased as a result of Birchmore's pregnancy. Birchmore tried to communicate with Farwell regarding a due date, ultrasounds, and he was unresponsive or dismissive. January 5th, Birchmore asked Farwell to come over so they could discuss her due date. He did not respond. Then text message on January 3rd says, I have a compromise. You don't have to sign because the baby can have your last name. Not discussing it in text. And then so she's just trying to figure out how they're going to navigate this whole thing. And then a little footnote here on the FBI affidavit. Farwell's reluctance to discuss the pregnancy via text message is significant because it is inconsistent with Farwell and Birchmore's long history of text message discussions regarding seemingly private topics. For example, there are thousands of text messages between Farwell and Birchmore in which Farwell discusses details regarding his work as a police officer, his sexual fantasies that were predominantly violent, including many references to choking and other things. graphic details about their previous sexual encounter. So he was fine talking about all that under text, but then don't talk about you being pregnant under text. Then on January 20th, this here is like the event horizon. This is this right here, January 20th, 2021 is the main event that sent Farwell down the path to the ultimate decision that he made. Person 2 called the Stoughton Police Department, and in that call referenced the sexual relationship between Birchmore and Farwell. After learning of this call, the fact of which suggests at least some aspects of Farwell's illicit conduct may have been exposed to the Stoughton Police Department, Farwell sent Birchmore text messages revealing his extreme anger. Series of text messages with expletives telling Birchmore that he thought no one knew about the relationship. Like she had never talked about, like like I said earlier, his whole thought is you can never ever talk to anybody about our relationship. This is how messed up this person is, that he is going to have this sexual relationship with a minor multiple years, but expects her to never ever talk to anybody in the world about it. None of her friends, nobody. She can't talk to anybody about their relationship. He thinks that is 100% going to happen. He's taken a child and expects her to be completely silent about anything. Sent her a series of text messages with expletives telling Birchmore he thought no one knew about their relationship, that she had no clue how bad this was. Dude, your effing friend called my job, Sandra. What the F? What? Your friend, person two's name, just called my effing work to complain about me. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I literally just woke up. Did you steal from her? Now, this part is kind of weird because let's look at this. Let's analyze this here right now. Let's kind of analyze this. This is Matthew Farwell's brain. This couple of sentences right here tells you a lot about what kind of person that you are dealing with. Person does not trust anyone. This person has no sense of camaraderie. This person is, I mean, obviously the stuff he's done, he's obviously a sociopath at the very least, a narcissist. But this right here tells a lot about what he is. What do you mean you don't know? I literally just woke up. Did you steal from her? In his mind, the only reason that person number 2 called the police department to report their relationship was retribution. He thought that person 2 reported their relationship to get back at Birchmore. He could not, at least this is what this tells me. Now, this is me speculating. This is me going off on a completely speculating tangent. But this is the text message. Did you steal from her? What did you do to her to make her want to get back at you? That's what goes through his brain first, not that this person is worried about her. This person cares about her. This person loves Sandra, does not want to see what the hell's going on, does not want to continue seeing this happen, knows that this has been going on for all these years, is finally fed up with it because she keeps hearing about how violent he is, right? None of that goes through his brain. His brain goes to, what did you do to her And why is she getting retribution on you? That says a lot about this guy. It says absolutely a lot. Birchmore, it's literally nothing. It's not nothing. She called my job. That's insane. Why would she call and drop my fucking name, Sandra? Like, what do I have to do with you not giving her something? What do I have to do with you not giving her something? Like, you have no idea how bad what she did is. I literally cannot believe this is even real life. What else do I have to worry about now? Which other friend do you something tomorrow? Which other friend will do something tomorrow? So he's worried that other friends are now going to call. During this investigation, I've interviewed person 5, an employee of the Stoughton Police Department. This part right here too. This is one of the grossest things of the absolute grossest. Not the grossest thing. And Matthew Farwell is the grossest thing. This thing just keeps compounding. It keeps compounding and compounding of just how messed up Canton and Stoughton and that whole area is. How corrupt, how just horrible this is. During this investigation, I interviewed person 5, an employee of the Stoughton Police Department, who received the call from person 2 on January 20th, 2021. Person 5 indicated that she took down person 2's name and information and gave it to Farwell. Look at that again. During this investigation, I interviewed person 5, an employee of the Stoughton Police Department, who received the call from person 2 on January 20th, 2021. Person 5 indicated that she took down person 2's name and information and gave it to Farwell. Person 5 indicated Farwell immediately got angry and pissed off, ordered person 5 not to speak about this to anyone and never talk about it again. Person 5 described Farwell's reaction as atypical, not consistent with his normal behavior. Of course not, because he always walked around. Yeah, he's always the perfect angel. I can't believe this guy did this. It's not his nature. Yeah, Person 5, this is the footnote. Person 5 did not have an independent memory of the date of the call, but I confirmed such date through business records. On Birchmore's final days, on January 24th, 2021, approximately 1 week prior to Birchmore's death, she communicated with person 8 about Farwell. So the father came by last night. Is the complete 360 change, 180. Yeah, laugh out loud. Good or bad? Good, but unexpected. So it kind of threw me off, made me a little uncomfortable, but it's because of how things were going. So keep in mind, this guy's been completely heartless, physically violent, and now all of a sudden he's sweet. So this is January 24th. We're a couple weeks away from what happened. He asked me if I'd give him a key and said that if I keep it a secret, he'll be around and see them and all that. So it's somewhere. Then he looked in my closet and then the bathroom, but I don't know why. Haven't figured that out. So he's going through her room to try and figure out where the best place to do this is, to do what he did is. Based on my training experience, I believe Farwell's shift in demeanor on or about the state was his attempt to appease Birchmore until he could kill her. Additionally, the foregoing text messages considered in light of the other evidence suggests that Farwell was making a plan to kill Birchmore. Part of that plan, including asking Birchmore to give him a key and keep it secret. Another part of the plan was inspecting various rooms of Birchmore's apartment, including the closet, to determine whether they contained items or present options for how and when to kill Birchmore. Um, so on February 1st, goes to their day Birchmore died. Here we go. February 1st, 2021 at 12:19 p.m., Birchmore sent Farwell text messages indicating she was going to be released early from her job at the Sharon Public Schools. Farwell told her he would not be in the area that day. Late in the afternoon of February 21, Birchmore told Farwell that she had received an early gift in the mail. Now, she was not planning to have a baby shower until late March because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Told Farwell that once she learned whether they were having a boy or girl, she wanted to purchase clothes for the child to wear when she came home from the hospital. Investigators reviewed surveillance videos from Birchmore Canton apartment building. February 21st, she has seen the video approximately 5:01, accepting a DoorDash. Then going outside briefly with a snow brush because it's snowing in Canton on February 1st. Later that evening at 9:08, Farwell sent Birchmore a text message asking whether he could come by for a second. Approximately 9:10, Birchmore sent Farwell a text message indicated when he arrived at her apartment, the door would be open for him. This is the last known outgoing message from Birchmore's cell phone. Surveillance video shows Farwell entering Birchmore's Canton apartment building at 9:14. I have reviewed Massachusetts State Police investigative reports which tentatively identify Farwell as a person on the surveillance footage entering Birchmore's apartment. On February 1st, 2021, I've also reviewed a report regarding State Police Detective's interview of Farwell. Admitted that he went to the apartment on February 1st. In that interview, Farwell stated he had been there approximately 9:10 and 9:30. He had his foot up and a face mask on, similar to face masks that many people use during the COVID-19 pandemic. I have interviewed, this is interesting too. He shows up wearing a mask, wearing a medical mask, but I've interviewed multiple witnesses. Each have indicated that Farwell resisted wearing a mask during the pandemic. So he didn't want to wear it during the pandemic, but it was okay when he was going to a girlfriend's house to kill her. Video surveillance records shows that Farwell left Birchmore's apartment at 9:43. February 4th is when they discovered her body. When officers arrived, they found Birchmore's body seated on the floor in a reclined position with a duffel bag strap tied around her neck. So he basically was able to strangle her and then move her body around, position it so it looked like self. So some of the things that they did to determine the time of death, health data on Birchmore's phone indicated the last movement recorded by the phone occurred at 9:40 p.m. on February 2021, 3 minutes before Farwell was captured on surveillance leaving the apartment. It registered 8 steps at approximately 9:40. These recorded steps occurred while Farwell is still in Birchmore's apartment. Noted above, first responders ultimately found the phone next to her body based on review of frequency of Birchmore's phone use over the weeks, months, and years leading up to her death. Her failure to access her phone is inconsistent with her usable habits when alive and awake, because basically she was always on her phone. So she's always on her phone, and then goes silent at 9:40 p.m. and is never used again. I also noticed that her actions were inconsistent with wanting to do yourself, basically. So during that day, she had communicated with a photographer for getting a newborn photography shoot. I mean, obviously, she's so excited about being pregnant. Texted a friend about obtaining some baby clothes, and then she did a Google search on Cubby Kids. She had made signs And then her family, who cleaned out her apartment, also noticed that she was doing laundry. She was doing laundry at the time that they say that she decided to end herself. It just does not compute. Why this was not taken into consideration from the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton Police Department is a complete mystery. Additionally, Birchmore's apartment family members observed a new baby stroller that was still in his package. They also observed homemade and store-bought onesies for the baby. Finally, family members found a necklace that belonged to Birchmore lying on the floor of her bedroom. This necklace consisted of a thin gold chain with a pink flamingo charm, something she always wore. I mean, very prominent necklace for her. And they found it broken on the floor. It was not broken at the clasp. It was actually just broken at the chain. And there was actually a clump of hair on the chain. Of course, evidence from that Massachusetts State Police and the Canton Police Department just 100% ignored. They also had a medical examiner examine the autopsy reports. They found that some of the broken bones that she had suffered, specifically a U-shaped bone on the front of her neck, fractured, that they'd gone back and they looked at other self deletions, and that bone was never broken during any of those. So Dr. Smock was the pathologist that they brought in, and based on Dr. Smock's review, he made several observations and conclusions that call into question the prior finding that the Birchmore's death was self-inflicted, and further confirmed that her death was a homicide. So confirmed this was a homicide. They interviewed Farwell on the February 6, 2021. He said that he had a relationship with her, but it only began in 2020, so that was a lie. And he said he'd only had sex with her 2 or 3 times. That was also a lie. And he could not have been the father of her unborn child because it was October 2020 was the last time that they were intimate, which was also a lie. So this guy just lied. I don't know why page 35 is gone. I'm going to have to re-download this. So the last thing bring up about this Farwell show that he is just a complete psychopath was following Birchmore's death. This was post-interview conduct. 2021, February 2021. We are in August of 2024, and today are the first days that he's spending behind bars. And yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But following Birchmore's death, Stoughton Police Department placed Farwell on administrative leave. Around that time, Farwell met a coworker, Percifor, at a local bar. During that meeting, Farwell told Percifor that he had a relationship with Birchmore. However, according to Percifor, at no point during that conversation did Farwell express any sadness, grief, or remorse about her death. But he actually told Percifor that he was angry with MSP for looking into him. So he's actually just angry that they're actually suspecting that he did what he did. At some point during the summer of 2021, Percifor attended a social gathering with Farwell, during which Farwell participated in a joke about Birchmore being hung on the door. So not only only is he going to just be mad that they're actually looking into him for doing what he did, he's going to make jokes about how she died. Because he thought he was in the clear. This dude thought he was in the clear. He thought he had beat it. Thought there's no way that they going to get to him. So I am very glad that pins are starting to fall. This was a big step in the start of this. There was a press conference which I didn't actually get at Boston Globe. It is a long one, so we'll probably skip through some of it. $30. We're not going to watch. Check a little bit of this out. I'm going to see at least the first part of it.
He has initial appearance at 2:30 today, by the way.
I thought it was 2:45.
Oh, she moved it to 2:45?
Unless it changed.
What is it, 2:45, Julie?
Is it 2:30? Oh.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Yep. Courtroom 22 with an overflow in courtroom 6. They are going to be looking for, this isn't my thing, it's a court thing, but
Oh,
they
there we
will
go.
be looking for credentials down in that courtroom, so make sure.
As an officer, and then to fourth,
Oh,
Good afternoon. On February 4th, 2021, Sandra Birchmore was found dead in her Canton, Massachusetts apartment. The charges filed today in federal court allege that she was in fact murdered by Matthew Farwell 3 days earlier. At the time of her death, Sandra Birchmore was a 23-year-old woman with her entire life ahead of her, and she was pregnant with her first child. We allege that Sandra Birchmore survived years of grooming, statutory rape, and then sexual violence, all at the hands of Matthew Farwell, who was employed throughout their relationship as an officer and then detective for the Stoughton Police Department. And when it became clear to Mr. Farwell that he could no longer control Sandra Birchmore, he allegedly silenced her permanently. This morning, Matthew Farwell was arrested on a federal grand jury indictment, charging him with one count of killing a witness or victim. Specifically, Mr. Farwell is charged with violating Title 18 United States Code 1512 for killing Sandra Birchmore with the intent of preventing her from communicating information about his possible commission of federal crimes. How did this all unfold? What happened here? Well, back in 12-year-old Sandra Birchmore applied to join the Stoughton Police Department's Explorers Program, which introduces teens to policing. Officer Matthew Farwell was an instructor in that program. And as alleged in court documents, he befriended Sandra Birchmore, contacted her online, went to the library with her, became friends on Facebook, essentially groomed her. And then he committed statutory rape by having sex with her when he was a 27-year-old police officer and she was just 15 years old. Mr. Farwell continued to have a sexual relationship with Sandra Birchmore until her death 8 years later, allegedly meeting her for sex regularly when he was on duty and being paid by the Stoughton Police Department. Now, in the weeks leading up to Sandra Birchmore's death in February
Keep calling it Stoughton.
2021,
I'm going to continue to call it Stoughton.
she found out that she was expecting a baby. And she told Mr. Farwell that he was the father. According to court documents, Ms. Birchmore was very excited about becoming a mother, buying baby clothes and other items, taking precautions to ensure the health of her new child. Sandra Birchmore had good friends, she had a good job, she had dreams of becoming a nurse, and she had a child on the way. But Mr. Farwell did not share in that excitement. It's alleged that Mr. Farwell reacted quite negatively to the news that Sandra Birchmore was pregnant with his child. And he acted angrily, it is alleged, when Sandra Birchmore started making requests of Mr. Farwell around doctor's appointments and ultrasounds and what information would be on the birth certificate. Mr. Farwell was losing control in late 2020, early 2021, and the information that Sandra Birchmore possessed about his illegal conduct was in danger of slipping out. In fact, word started to get out about their relationship. Less than 2 weeks before she was found dead, someone called the Stoughton Police Department and disclosed that Matthew Farwell had had a relationship with Sandra Birchmore. And when Mr. Farwell learned about that call, he became visibly angry. Mr. Farwell, it is alleged in these court papers, started to lose his patience, lose his temper, and the 6'4" Mr. Farwell started to be physically violent with 4'10" Sandra Birchmore. And Sandra Birchmore told her friends that Mr. Farwell had pushed her and shoved her and put her in a chokehold. She was scared. And during that same time, Mr. Farwell was allegedly planning Sandra Birchmore's murder. For the first time, he requested a key to her apartment. And she told friends that he was oddly inspecting the apartment and looking at the closet, including the closet that she was found dead in front of. And then it all came to a head on February 1st, 2021. Mr. Farwell went over to her apartment that evening, and he strangled Sandra Birchmore to death. That's the allegation in this case. And he used his knowledge and experience as a law enforcement officer to stage her death to look like a suicide.
Okay, let's see if we can find some of the questions.
Consequences, both good and bad. To temper that power.
They did start to ask questions. I think somebody was speculating that they were told that don't ask questions about the Karen Reed case because it's not about the Karen Reed case, but they tried to slip it in.
Wasn't involved in the initial determination of a suicide, so I can't speak to that. We also have a duty to get it right.
Was there a rush to find a suicide because this involved a police officer?
Yeah, our office wasn't involved in the initial determination.
Was there a rush to find a suicide because of it involved a police officer? That was the question.
I can't speak to that.
You mentioned your office got involved about a year ago. What prompted that?
Yeah, we get leads on cases all the time from all different sources. I'm not going to comment on how we get information on how we got into this one.
I know you said initially this, was considered a suicide, but it seems like there's a plethora of evidence to suggest otherwise. Surveillance, text messages. How was that all missed for the first 2 years?
Yeah, I'm only in a position to comment on what we've done on this investigation. Those questions are not.
How did they miss all the evidence that you have? How did it get missed?
I'm able to answer to. We like I said in my comments, we started pulling this string and followed the evidence and got new evidence to put together the case we put together today.
So what evidence tipped you off?
I'm sorry, sir?
What evidence led you to
It's you're never able to pick one piece of evidence that
Examiner's office plan to change the cause of death on her birth certificate, and did you determine who the father of her unborn baby was?
well, I'll take those in reverse order. I'm not going to comment on the second piece. What we have alleged in the court papers is that Ms. Birchmore told Mr. Farwell several times that he was the father. And your question about the state medical examiner, obviously, they don't report to me, and that's a question better directed to the state medical examiner.
Matthew is mentioned here, but we've heard reports over the years of several other officers. Have you guys conducted any other ongoing investigations related to stalking?
So I think Assistant Special Agent Charge Keller alluded to the fact this is an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to comment on what the other pieces are that we're looking at.
There we go. Right there. Right there. This is an ongoing investigation. We're not done yet. Thank you. There are still other pieces to fall. The first part of that question was there are allegedly other officers involved in this. The second part of that was, are you done yet? The answer is no, we're not done yet.
But it's an active investigation. Shelley?
It's active investigation.
Is that on the table, or is that already off the table?
So, Shelley, you're absolutely correct. The maximum penalty under this statute, as charged, is a sentence of death. And whether to seek the death penalty.
So this
in
is a
federal case
capital
is decided
offense
at the
that they've
highest levels
charged.
of the Department of Justice. That decision has not been made on whether the death penalty was sought in this case, and that process will continue, but I can't really can't comment
Potential
beyond that.
capital offense.
Not going to comment on it. It's a process that involves a lot of people at the Department of Justice, and I'm not going to share my view on this.
Did other officers in Stoughton or Stoughton government know about the grooming, the underage sexual contact that Matthew Farwell was having with Sandra when it was going on in those early 2010, 11, 12, 13?
I'm not going to comment on information that's not in the public record.
So did other officers know that stuff was going on when she was underage? Not going to comment on
It's an ongoing
it.
matter, so we're going to continue to look into this matter, and if there's
Thank
other
you.
individuals that we develop evidence they've violated the federal law, we'll proceed.
Josh, can you touch on, murder, state usually is the one that handles murder charges. Obviously, defense have jurisdiction on many cases, but what made this one get to federal authorities, and do you
Makes a very good point that murder is normally a murder is a state crime. It's charged and it's adjudicated through the states. So what led this to be a federal crime? Was it because state wasn't actually doing anything?
think that the state officials watched this?
And what can you say? I haven't seen this yet, so
There's a lot of overlap in the law between the federal government has jurisdiction over and what the state government has jurisdiction over. When someone comes to our office with credible information that a police officer may have been involved in a murder and underlying legal violations as set forth in the indictment, we're going to investigate that case every time. They come in different shapes and sizes, but that is our duty to the public, is to pursue credible leads like that and investigate them fully.
To follow up on her question, we saw Lieutenant Toledo said earlier, this was Norfolk Day's case first. You mentioned that they've been state partners throughout this. Does your office look into what may have went wrong in their investigation?
This case is about what went wrong for Sandra Birchmore and how she was treated by Matthew Farwell and how he violated her rights and ultimately killed her. That's what this case is about. It's not about what happens at other state agencies. This is about justice for Sandra Birchmore.
This is the second major death investigation where your office has come to a different conclusion than Norfolk County DA. I'm sure
Here
you
we
can
go.
comment on that, but is that normal for federal prosecutors and state prosecutors to reach different conclusions on investigations?
So the question, if you couldn't hear it, the question was, this is the second case that your office has come to different conclusions of a death investigation. So this is absolutely referring to the Karen Reed case and how they came to a different conclusion than the state came to as far as the death of John O'Keefe.
So I'm here to talk about one case. We've got about 1,000 cases in the office. I'm not going to comment on any other case in the office.
And he's not
I would
going
just
to comment.
caution you to not extrapolate too much from one case out of all the things that are happening in our office.
This district has brought a charge of killing of a witness. I can't think of any others. I'm wondering if there are others.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. That's a question. That's an answer we could get for you, but I don't know the answer to it, Shelley. We bring charges of obstruction of justice frequently, as you know, but I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know that this is a very. I think that's another very good question. This is probably not a law that is brought up very often. I don't think this is a charge that gets charged very often. So, I mean, it is a murder charge, but it's murdering a potential witness. So it's not just straight. This person killed this person. You have to have the underlying things in order for this to be found guilty for this. So there's it's more complex than just did somebody kill him? Did they not kill him?
Yeah, I'm not in a position to comment on things that are in the public record. That I wouldn't take that as yes or no. But I'm
No,
I'm
he's
limited up
got.
here
I mean, he's
under
got to be
local rules,
careful. He's
talking
got to
what's in
be
the public
careful.
record.
Can you talk about the arrest? What happened with the arrest this morning?
Has
I'm
to
gonna
be
ask,
careful with it.
ASAC Kelleher to speak to that.
So this morning we had a SWAT team that was in a location where Mr. Farwell was. He was taken into custody. He was driving a truck, gravel hauler, and he was safely taken into custody by the SWAT team, which is, you know, what we strive to achieve every time we do an operation like this.
Neighborhood?
No, he was in Revere.
Not in a neighborhood in Revere, or was he on the highway?
No, it was in a shopping plaza in Revere.
Did he say anything?
Driving a gravel
We have
truck.
not tried to interview him.
That dump truck he's driving, is that his new employment, presumably?
Again, I wouldn't comment on that here at this time, but he was driving the dump truck when he was arrested.
Obviously, he's not a cop anymore.
Agencies investigating this, can we expect to see any
Driving a dump truck.
from those lead investigators from other agencies who were responsible for finding justice in this case and did not?
He's gonna let.
You know, I think
Can you
the
answer
juncture
that?
we're at right now is that we are working with state agencies. We've developed, as I said, new information that we're going to share with our state partners. They're going to make decisions about what charges are appropriate under state law, if any.
Can you tell us who the lead investigator was on this case before your agency got involved?
I can tell you the lead investigator was for our matter, which was the FBI. I don't know, I honestly don't have information on who the lead was in a state investigation. I don't get that type of information.
You've said that you're not, you're looking just.
They're trying to get as much information they can about the state investigation. You can tell.
Is that within
Poking.
jurisdiction to investigate what those state agencies did?
I think what I said was I'm here to talk about Sandra Birchmore, and I'm not here to talk about other things that are happening in the United States Attorney's Office. It's 125 federal prosecutors doing a lot of different things. In this case, this press conference is about one young woman who we allege, was killed by a Stoughton police officer, Matthew Farwell.
How your investigation might be complicated by the fact that you're going now into federal court where there is this, and you found that it was suicide, the Norfolk County DA's office opted not to pursue it. How does that affect your efforts now to prosecute?
Yep, good question. Look.
And there is absolutely no reason why Norfolk County can't charge him as well. There's no reason why they can't charge him with murder. 100% no reason why they can't charge him with murder. Why?
So Judge Talwani is the one who decides what the sentence is, certainly not the government. Mathematically,
no.
You could stack charges like that.
Oh, there we go. It's here. Okay.
In evaluating whether to bring charges, we obviously look at all the evidence that's both incriminating and exculpatory. All that gets turned over to defense lawyers. Mr. Farwell will be well represented in this case, and those facts will be put out in front of a jury. We are confident that when all the evidence is presented to a jury, if it gets that far, that those issues will not prevent us from securing a conviction.
Have you done your own person do an autopsy?
We-
That's come to a different conclusion? I know there's another one out there that's already been reported on.
That's correct. There's an expert witness. I don't want to get into exactly what that person did or didn't because I don't want to mischaracterize it, but it's in the court documents, who has a tremendous amount of experience in this field and has reached a different conclusion.
Just a couple more questions. And just to be clear, you're not going to comment on the other two officers who had sexual relations with Ms. Birchmore?
That's correct.
How unusual is it for a police officer to be charged with a capital offense involving sexual command?
It's unusual in my experience. I don't
It's
have a
very unusual,
full
yes.
handle on how often this has been done nationwide, but it's an unusual situation. And that's partly why it's so incredibly disturbing.
Anyone else?
Do you have any words of
Absolutely incredibly disturbing.
Police Explorers programs based on what you learned from your investigation about how this was able to unfold?
Yeah, I'm going to stick to my swim lane. I'm not an expert on Police Explorer programs. And so I really don't have any intelligent answer to that question.
Thank you.
Yep, into that. And like, thank you, we're done. So that was the abbreviated version of press conference. So this is the last thing, and we'll wrap this up here. We did get a statement from Michael Morrissey from the DA's office. I don't know exactly what he said, but we'll look at it. New statement from Norfolk DA's office on indictment of former Stoughton. I'm gonna keep calling it Stoughton because that's the way it looks to me. So Stoughton. Detective Matthew Farwell for the killing of Sandra Birchmore. Birchmore investigation has remained open and active. A liar. But as we know, we do not comment extensively on active investigations. It's not been active. You closed it. You closed it as a self-harm thing. That work has included collaboration with local police, the Attorney General of the Commonwealth, the FBI, as each entity has unique resources and jurisdiction. 2 state police officers assigned to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office were at the command post for the operation when the apprehension was made. And Revere, we look forward to supporting and assisting federal authorities as they pursue this prosecution. Why not do your own prosecution? There's no reason that he can't be tried on state charges as well. Why are you going to assist them as they pursue this? Spokesman for the Norfolk District Attorneys, Michael T. Morris, said that Wednesday that an investigation into the Birchmore's death has remained open and active, but will not comment further, only saying that state police troopers assigned to the office were involved in. That's the frustrating thing about this too. How ridiculous this whole thing has been. How they covered this up, looked the other way, and somebody calls and says, "Hey, I'm concerned. This has been going on for years, and this person has been abusing this person for years." You call the police, try to report somebody who's the police, and that person just goes and just tells that person that you called about. What in the world? So next week there is want to do a little more research into this. They did start an investigation. I saw a good thread about the police chief of Stoughton, and once she knew what was going on, what she did, the actions she took. So while I think there's a lot of people that need to be prosecuted as well as Faro, that Farwell, I don't know where did I get Farwell, that there are obviously some good people that were following this too. So we definitely need to commend them. And it looks to me from what I read, I'm going to do some more research on it, but it looks to me like the Stoughton police chief was one of the good ones. And, obviously it happened outside of her jurisdiction. So it's either the state or Canton who has to do it. So she couldn't really investigate the crime, but it sounds like she did everything she could to facilitate this happening. So I'm going to dig in more of that. We'll probably get that next week. Tomorrow night, we will have the whole crew here. It's Friday night tomorrow night. So yeah. And then it's Labor Day weekend. So off on Monday. So maybe I'll stream on Monday. I don't know. We shall see. So no, I didn't get any editing done tonight, but this was more important. I think this is an important topic. Was, I don't know, something that just is, I mean, it's so egregious. It's so, and to have followed the other case that we followed and know that this is the reason that the FBI originally got looking at the, this area and these police officers and agencies. This is the reason they started looking at this, was this girl's death. Poor young lady just didn't have a chance at a real teenage, didn't have a chance to become an adult, basically used by these people that we're supposed to trust. It breaks down the whole trust that you're supposed to have in these people. On that lovely note, I thank you very much for tuning into this. For caring. It's us sticking together that's going to get us through these things. So if something going on in your life, find somebody to reach out to. Even if you've got to DM them, whatever. If there's something going on out there, then find somebody to talk to. There's numbers you can call. If you have friends, talk to your friends, talk to a clergy person, find a phone number to call. But yeah, something happening, then reach out. Thank you for hanging out. For an important story that out there. So yes, exactly. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, I go. I will see you all later. One more time as we go. Check out the little chickens. Go. Little peepers. Whenever I go home, the chickens are always waiting for me. But if it's light out still, if it's dark, they're already in their little thing. But the like 7 chickens that we have down the little pen, every time I pull in, they see my car and they come running, even if they've already got food. Oh, there's 4 of the chickies. Okay. Oh yeah, the kids always come running over because they think I'm food. Even if they've got their food, they still come running over to me because they want more food. So I always, even if I have to, I'll grab a handful of food and I always make sure I give them something to keep on their good side. All right. Anyway, on that note, thank you guys. Love y'all. We'll see you later.